Evening, everyone. I hope you're well. Welcome to tonight. Just giving us a few minutes, get everyone in the room, and then we'll get started. And it's quite interesting to see all the comments that are going through. I just want to get an understanding of who we've got in the room, what sort of experience we've got with regards to marketing, and what you feel it's costing you, and really what you want to achieve this week. So we're going to go through quite a lot, and I'm really looking forward to these weeks. It's always a high impact week. It's worth showing up for. The sessions will be anywhere from 30 to sort of 60 minutes, depending on how the sort of day goes. And the idea of it is, we're gonna look at showing you how to create content. I think one of the biggest things I have sort of doubled down on over the years is my marketing. I've spent a lot of money on marketing mentorships, programs, and just taking that game to the next level. And I feel like it's really propelled my business, which is why I'm so passionate about it. I do feel like not enough people in the property space give good advice on marketing. I think it's very old school and generic. And if you're wanting to build a business to sell, and that's kind of the mindset that most of you should be working on. At the end of the day, every time you acquire a property, you are building a more profitable business that you could potentially sell in the future, or obviously pass down to your legacy. So building that brand is super important, and it's something that we do on a daily, weekly basis. So this week's agenda, just so everyone kind of understands what's going to be going on, we're going to look at creating this year's content, and I do mean that. I have a very unique process, I like to think, where I can create a lot of content in a very short space of time, and we then can look to repurpose that content and effectively have 12 months worth of content prepared. Now, one thing to understand is the year changes. So, whilst you have a lot of content prepared, things may happen, and you should always be listing topical content as well. Obviously, a case and example of that is January last year. We could have had quite a lot of content prepared, which we did, and then we were hit by COVID, which became topical. So, a lot of the content went around that. So, but good content can be used over and over and over again. We're going to master several key marketing strategies. I can't possibly go through all the marketing strategies in this time frame. I could do months of mentorship on just marketing alone, and a week is not long enough to do all the different avenues and look at it. But I am going to give you a flavor of what the core elements are to move your business forward. We will build your personal and your property brand. If you haven't already started doing that, then this is a great opportunity to do it. If you have already started doing it, hopefully you'll take some key things away and enhance what you've been doing. And over the few days, we'll basically discover how to go to the next level faster. I do see a lot of people struggling with marketing. It doesn't need to be that complicated. It's quite a simple process, but you do have to understand it, and you've got to understand why you're doing it. And for everybody that does stay to the end of the week, the end of Friday's session, I do have a special gift for you all. So we're going to start today with content creation. I'm going to show you a little hack on how you can create a lot of content from one topic. I think one of the things I hear all the time is I just don't know what to post. So I'm going to make sure that you do know what to post, and I'm also going to show you how to write, sort of a bit of a 101 in copywriting. As we go through the week, we're going to look at how we then arrange content for the different types of audiences. Another thing that a lot of people miss is where they're targeting and where they're going. Next, we're going to look at how you multiply your content. So how you can take one piece of content and spread it across, 5, possibly even 10 different places, and how you can, make it that last for the year. So again, you're not having to create, like 12 months worth of content in terms of articles. We're going to use one bit of content, and we might repurpose that 5 times, so that helps reduce the amount of content that we do need to create. Zach, could you just mute everyone and just keep hearing someone? Content machine is the key driver behind systems and processes. Anybody that knows me, anybody that's been in my world for long enough will fully understand that I am all about systems and processes and automation. I am not a believer in hustling hard and working 12 hours a day. I think you should be working less and earning more, and you should always be doing that, and you should always be focused on doing that. To be able to do that, you need good systems and processes in place, and that goes to every piece of your business, not just your serviced accommodation, guest handling, or your HMO tenant management. You need systems and processes for every single part of your business. My marketing department is no different. I'm going to give you the content machine, which is, I would imagine blow most of you away, and hopefully give you an insight into what goes on, but what you can also do in your business to make sure that it is seamless content creation. And then on the final day, which is going to be the piece de resistance, I'm going to show you how to go from a habit to create a new identity with your marketing and with your property business and with you yourself. So plenty to go through. I'm sure if you're reading these and excited, I am as well. I put this together, and I love talking about marketing. So we will come on to questions at the end. So if you do have questions as we go through, then please just pop them in the chat, and we will pick them up at the end. If you want to wait until the end, then by all means do that. The only thing I will say about questions is I want them to be topical. I sometimes get a lot of people coming on this and wanting to talk about other things. This is a marketing challenge this week. So as long as the questions around marketing and around the content that we're delivering, I will answer the questions. If it's around something totally different and non-related to marketing, but maybe property related, I won't answer that question. So please don't be offended. That's just not for this container right now. So let's look at, marketing is just one element of a roadmap to success. And, within these individual elements as well, your mindset, your knowledge, your brand development, deal sourcing, et cetera, there's 100 different branches that come off them as well. And that is what forms a good business. You do need a roadmap to success. That's what we work with, the clients on is going from A to Z as quick as we can possibly do it, but making sure that each part of it gets boxed off with a system and a process so that it's scalable, it's predictable, and it's sustainable. But this week, we're just going to be focusing on this one area of the roadmap, which is marketing. It's a fundamental area, don't get me wrong, as are they all, but by all means, it is just a part of your roadmap and something that you need to put into your toolbox and master, as well as deal sourcing, as well as networking, as well as funding, etc. They're all elements of a successful property business that you have to master if you want to, change from where you are now and transform into where you want to go. So I mentioned before, there's so many different types of marketing that you can do for your business. And this is why, we can't possibly cover them off in a week. But, there's, inbound marketing, digital marketing, search engine marketing, content marketing, proximity marketing, the list goes on. I think there's about 27 or 28 different elements of marketing within the word marketing. A bit like property, there's so many different ways to spin a property. Marketing's no different. But what we want to focus on this week is just content creation, optimization, and probably social media. I like to call it business media. I don't like to socialize online. I like to create business media online. But that's kind of where we're going to focus. A lot of outbound marketing, making sure that we are getting in front of everybody and building our brand. So day one is all about content creation. If you haven't already, get a pen and a bit of paper, because there is a short exercise coming up. And if you have been through this before, because day one I have touched base before on some of my other trainings, just go with it again. It's always good to refresh the simple things. At the end of the day, for me, a lot of people want to complicate businesses, but they forget about the habits that create the success, the daily habits that you consistently do on a day-to-day basis. That's what makes the difference. And I can guarantee if you did this exercise with me, I think it was one of the quarterly master classes. It might have actually only been for my inner circle. So many of you might not have done this, but even if you have, great exercise. I want you to do it again. And, you know, we'll get some fresh ideas coming out as well, because your journey will have moved since then anyway. So what we want to do is everyone always struggles with content. Okay, so I hear all the time, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to write. I don't know what pictures to put out there. I don't know what videos to shoot, you know, and it all starts with a topic. Okay, so what I want to do is I want you to just write on a bit of paper at the left-hand side in the top left-hand corner a topic, you know. So for me, in this example, it was serviced accommodation. I just choose any topic that you want. It doesn't have to be serviced accommodation. It can be just anything to do with your property business, you know. So to give you an idea, you've got serviced accommodation, you've got HMOs, you've got flips, you've got BRR, you've got deal finding, you've got lending, you've got what are the other core topics that we've got? Type them in the chat if you want to throw some in the ring. We have got investor funding, we've got bridging loans, we've got landlords, estate agents. So, you know, there are so many different topics that we can talk about. And this is called a content tree. And, you know, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's 18 pieces of content on this one diagram. That's, you know, 18 days worth of content just from a very quick exercise. So choose your main topic. And then what I want you to do is then, with relation to that topic, I want you to then break it down. So as I've done here, so serviced accommodation is a topic. I could write an article about serviced accommodation. I could post a video about serviced accommodation, just, you know, an overview. That's a fairly simple thing to do. Next part of it is, okay, well, what else revolves around serviced accommodation? So the next thing is just draw a little line and then just put, you know, whatever is a subtopic of your main topic. So channel managers was case and example here. We then have guests, linen changes, pricing softwares, maintenance, systems, processes. Again, my list could go on and on and on with the subtopics around serviced accommodation. So all of a sudden you've created a topic to write about, and now you've probably got 8, 10, 12, 15 probably subtopics that we can then write about. Then what you want to do is create subtopics. So in my example here, as you can see, the channel managers is the top one. That's what I've pulled out. So multi-channel listing, customer deposits, e-sign contracts, communication inbox, identity verification. So they're a subtopic of my subtopic, which is a channel manager, of my main topic, which is about serviced accommodation. So hopefully you can see how the flow is starting to come in there. What you can then do again is create a subtopic, you know. So what is a subtopic of channel listings? We've got Airbnb, we've got booking.com, we've got double bookings, we've got photographs, we've got descriptions. So just from that one line at the top there, you know, we've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of content. Now I would do the same for the guest line. So, okay, subtopics guest, what could the subtopics be? Don't know how to work a lockbox, you know, the hassle that you get from them, the damage that they leave, the great reviews that you get, the contractors that fix your light bulbs for you, you know. So there's topics that you can come off that guest topic, and then you could go into subtopics of that. So, you know, problem guests, you know, trashing the place, you know, doing this, doing X, police called out, blah, blah, blah. You know, all these points, you can just, hopefully you're starting to see, it's like, I call it a content tree, because you've got your main trunk, and then you've got all these branches coming off, and every single one of those branches is a topic. So what I want you to do is just spend 1 minute, well, I'll give you a couple of minutes now to just go through and write your content tree. I'll give you exactly, I'll give you 4 minutes. I'll put some music on, and then when the music stops, a bit like musical parcels and all that, what I want you to do, I want you to count up how many topics you've created, and I just want you to drop it in the chat box. If anybody does have any questions around this, I will answer them now in the chat. So if you're stuck and you would like some help on this, you don't quite understand what I'm asking you to do, just ping them in the chat and I'll get them answered for you.
Achieved by using the sync mode of an oscillator and by modulating its area decreasing an envelope. Let's show it again. With 6, it generates a very different, more digital sound of the space sound. Let's play it again.
Rightio. Random playlist, by the way. That's not my usual not my usual stuff. But anyway, right. Just count up what you've got. Maybe just list your main topic. So whatever you chose as your main topic, and then just ping in the number of subtopics, or basically the number of pieces of content that you've now got to write about or create a article or a marketing post around. So just service accommodation, then a number, whatever your main topic is, and then a number. So we've got BRR to SA 35, short-term rentals 18, landlords 16, vet 28, not sure on the topic. Deal sourcing 24, SA 33, buy-let 16, SA 15, rent to SA from a vet, thank you. SA 20, raising money 20, okay, cool. 37, Leon, well done. HMO 9, need inspiration. Okay, for those that are struggling with the lower numbers, you know, just think about each topic individually and sort of what then relates into that topic. So, you know, HMO, you could go into, you know, subtopics would obviously be sort of the type of properties, the licenses, the tenants, the furniture, the living spaces, the how to control the houses. You could then go into sort of the legalities of ASTs, you know, the PSR, ICO, you know, so there's 9. And then from each of those, you could then go, so like tenants, you could go into viewings, locking themselves out of rooms. What else we could do? Not cleaning up after themselves, fighting with each other, you know, so there's kind of 4 simple subtopics off the subtopic, you know, so you just got to kind of think about what relates. It doesn't really matter at this stage. We're just sort of like brain dumping here. But as you can see, within 4 minutes of a very random music tune, most people have managed to create somewhere between 15 and 27 seems to be the most pieces of content. So that's 15 to 27 days worth of content that you've created in 4 minutes. Now, what you would then do is obviously repeat this process for the best part of an hour, and you will pretty much have a year's worth of content, okay? Now, if only it was that easy and that was it, and then it just magically ended up on your business media all nicely put together, then that would be great, but obviously it doesn't. So, you know, we do need to put that into play. And we also need to know how to write it as well, which is really important. And, you know, something that I've studied hard on and do regularly and continue to get out there. And, you know, the more you tweak it, the more you test it, the more engagement you get. So this is the copywriting formula. Again, pens at the ready, write this down, because your homework task for tonight is going to be writing an article and then displaying it. So basically, we need a hook, okay? So the first part of the post needs to be a hook. Now, if it's an image, obviously you can chuck something out there that grabs attention. It has to pattern interrupt people. Okay, if your content is not pattern interrupting people, you're not going to get the engagement on it and you're not going to get the result that you need. So what I mean by pattern interrupting is basically we live in this world of scrolling. What we've got to do is we've got to stop the scroll. Okay, so it's got to jump out the screen at them and stop the scroll. You'll have all done it before, where you've been sat on the couch watching EastEnders and then all of a sudden something jumps out of you. You know, it could have been one of my adverts, you know, which ended you in here right now or got you into my group. You know, something jumped out and being like, right, okay, I'm interested in that. That hits home to me. So we need a hook. And if we're doing it in a written format, it is just sort of a quick 1 or 2 lines. I do tend to chuck an emoji at the top there just to really grab some attention. Swear words, things with stars in, they also grab attention, you know, quite quickly. So, you know, don't be afraid of, you know, I'm not saying go and put like, you know, profanity on all your posts, but, you know, if it's done in a tasteful way, you can get away with it. We then have to quite quickly deliver why you have the authority to give the information that you're about to give. So, you know, you want to write a hook. I'm going to give you an example, so we'll talk through it. But why should they listen to you? Why should they read your post further? you know, and you've got to get your authority across very early and very quickly so they continue to read. You then need to talk to the problem that's going on inside their head. Okay, really important that you talk to the problem that's going on inside their head. It may hurt some of you, but no one cares about you. Okay, you really have to understand that in business, in marketing, nobody cares about your problems or what you're trying to sell. You know, they really don't. All they care about is getting their own problems solved. So we have to talk to their problem. You know, don't talk about your problems. Don't big up how, you know, who you are, what you do. You see all the time on LinkedIn. Had a meeting today with one of my LinkedIn consultants, and we were discussing how bad some of the inbox posts are. They just have absolutely no interest in me or my problems, and all they want to do is pitch their products and service and tell you how great they are. You know, it's the worst form of marketing you can get sucked into. We see it all the time in the Facebook groups, go on about it all the time. You know, I get it in my inbox all the time. You know, would you like to buy this deal off me? Sorry, don't even know who you are. You know, why would I buy this deal? It could be the best deal in the world, but it doesn't matter. I don't know who you are. You know, do you know if I've got a problem with deal finding? You know, if not, maybe you want to find that out first before you start pitching me something. You know, so we've got to talk to the problem first. Really important part of the whole piece of content that we're doing. The next part is the solution. So, you know, how does your solution solve that problem that they're experiencing? And then that is fundamental to get over the line. Can you just mute everyone? We then have the payoff. So by taking on board your solution, what is the payoff that they will experience? And then finally, we have the call to action. So what do they need to do next to get your solution? Okay. So if we look at it in terms of a story, can everyone just give me a thumbs up if you can read that? Yeah, you okay with that? Okay, so this is a post written, let me have a look. So a rent to rent style post, I would imagine. Yeah, so hook, Mr. Landlord, yes, I'll rent your property or portfolio of properties for 5 years or more. If you're a landlord and you're seeing that, then, you know, that's probably going to interest you. That's going to hook you in. You know, I then go into the authority. So I love the service that we offer, not because it's a win for me, but because it's a huge win for the landlord. Over the years, I've built an incredible relationship with many landlords. That's my authority. That's why I can now talk about this. And that's why I can deliver this information that I'm going to give to you, and it'll help them continue to read. Now, talk to the problem. So what problems do landlords face? You know, that's kind of what I'm wanting to talk about in this section here. You know, why would a landlord want to rent a tenant that cannot pay rent for 6 months or more? I've got a few of them at the minute. We want to throw them out the window, but we can't because the government won't allow us. So, you know, we have to continue to allow them to stay in our properties for free. A tenant that will more than likely hand the property back in worse condition. I've got a couple of them at the minute. Got dogs in there and they shouldn't. After spending 10K refurbing it, I'm probably going to have to spend the same again when they leave. Fun and games. A potential weed farm. Don't know whether anyone's ever seen these before, but I have firsthand, and they are not cheap to fix. So, you know, yes, we're exaggerating here because the majority of tenants are all right. They're actually well behaved, you know, and they do leave your property in nice condition. But, you know, if you've ever had an experience of a bad tenant, this is going to jump out at you. You're going to be interested. And anybody that's been a landlord for long enough will have had at least 1 or 2 bad tenants. So, you know, it will hit home to quite a lot of landlords. So that, you know, you can talk, that's how we talk to the problem. So as it says, the list goes on, solution. Okay, so lucky for me, I have a good team to take away the hassle, the stress, and the frustration, you know. So I'm talking about, you know, my solution. I've got an in-house estate agency, you know, which manage my tenants, you know. But would I manage them myself out of choice? You know, hell no. You know, so they're really getting dramatic there. A lot of landlords do manage their own stuff. You know, they either manage their own stuff or they give it to an estate agent who generally doesn't do that good of a job. So, you know, I want to be finding more properties. I want to be out there acquiring more units and growing my business, not working in the business, you know. And that's, again, just kind of hitting the solution for them. So I'm going to give them a solution that allows them to find more money, find more properties, rather than actually, dealing with the hassle and the headaches of tenants. So the payoff is, a big mistake many landlords make. This is why they partnering with us has become the number one solution for their bank balance. What we've got here, not only do they remove the day-to-day hassle and never have to speak to a tenant again, but they save time and can focus on growing their business, not operating it. So any landlord reading that, hands up if you think they might be interested in what you've got to offer. Engaging enough, drawing them in, hitting the problem, and then you're giving them the payoff. And then obviously there's a call to action at the end. So let's see those hands in the comments below, or you can put, if you want to, I'll go into it a bit more, but the way that algorithms work on different business media platforms, hashtags, comments, engagement, likes, shares, it all adds to how your posts get out there and the more engagement they get. Again, that's, we'll talk about that further through the week, but it is a crucial to understand what your call to action is based on what you're trying to do with your post. So whether you're just trying to get it seen by as many eyeballs as possible, whether it's actually meant to be a lead generator, a brand builder, there's so many different things you can do with the actual post itself. So, but we'll touch base on that. And you need to understand the algorithms of the different channels to understand how you then post. So did everyone, has everyone wrote that down? Just give me a show of hands if you want me to keep that there, or is everyone good with that? We can move on. Yeah, you got the hook, the authority, talk to the problem, solution, payoff, call to action. Very simple formula that you put into play. Now you got to write all your posts. So 27 posts, hook, story, offer. As that format goes. This can be quite a tedious exercise, but if you get it done and you block, what I call block copy it, so you basically block out a time in your diary where you just copy, then you will get it done much more efficiently than dipping in saying, oh, well, I'll do every bit of Thursday afternoon, I'll do a couple of pieces of content, because after a couple of weeks, it all fades off and you stop. Now, in my experience, you need to create an environment to do this. And I'm going to give you my environment that I do it in. Everyone's different, but, it is a time block where, you want to make sure you just got your head in the game and you just go writing. You can do it another way where you can actually shoot videos and then get them transcribed. And I'm going to, go through that later in the week as well. But for the simplest format to get used to the style, the sort of hook, the authority, talk to the problem, the solution, and then the CTA. I would write at least your first few hours worth of content. Now, me personally, I can only write for 2 hours solid before I then start to fade off. I know some people can go for longer, 4 hours, but you got to see what works for you. And this is how you then just thrash it out. So 2 hour time blocks, as I said, that works for me. Now, this is something that you might think is balmy, but I have one song on repeat for the whole time that I do it. And that song is not like the songs we had on before. It's very much a focused track. It's not about the music, okay? It's not about the music. For anyone that knows David Goggins, he did 72 hours solid of pull-ups. He listened to one track the whole time. The reason he listened to one track is about getting into a rhythm. Okay, so you get into a rhythm of pulling up, and that allows him to mentally push through and get the 72 hours done. This is no different, okay? It is a slog, and you get into a rhythm and you just type in and you flow, okay? Put different tracks on. It can, it can change things. Try it. Let me know how you get on. It'd be interesting to hear it. Works for me. I absolutely love it. So whenever I want to do focus stuff, that's exactly what I do. I do have one song, and I use the same song all the time. Make sure you got your content tree printed out so you're ready to go. And, you can just go, right, topic is that. Right, let's write hook, authority, problem, solution, call to action, and you're just doing it again. Right, next subtopic, bang, 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 bang. And then get them typing up, get typing. Put them on a Google Doc, whatever it might be. Make sure you've got the formula printed out, which we've just wrote down, we've just gone through. And again, it just jogs you where you are with each part of it. And that is kind of where we're at tonight before we take Q&A. What I would like you to do, I always think it's really important that you take action from any training session, or the training session 9 times out of 10 is a total waste of time. So I want you to go away and create at least one post in that format. In my 7-figure property empire group, there will be a homework post that looks exactly like this up there now. And I want you to just drop your post in the comments, and as the evening goes on, I will dive into those posts and I'll give you some feedback on where you could maybe tweak them, or if you're on the right lines, or if I think you could enhance it in any way. And then that is kind of how you will create your first batch of content. And as I said, tomorrow, we have another part of the marketing journey, which this all ties in, by the way, but this is just where we get started and how we start writing content to deliver. As I said, as you get more and more confident with what you're doing, you can then start shooting videos to do this type of stuff. You can relay it in pictures without words, or pictures and words. You can shoot little Instagram stories. There's various different things that we will cover and that we'll do across the week. But this is the basis of it. This is the foundations of how you get content out there in the right format. So that is tonight's session. I will, as I said, take questions, and we can go from there. If anybody has any questions, please drop them in the chat, and we'll get them answered. As I said, stay topical if you can. Hopefully I've explained everything superbly that there's not many questions, but if there are, please don't hesitate to drop them in there. And what I'd really like as well is if everyone could turn their cameras on, and then I can take a photograph of it and post it on social media, because, I like to document my journey. I think everybody should document your journey. It's important to tell people what you're up to. So if everyone could please wave at me in 3, 2, 1, that'd be amazing. There we go. Super duper. Everyone should be doing the same. Do the same. It's I can't stress how important it is to just get content out there. Imperfect action is so much better than no action at all. So too many times people think, oh well, this looks bad, or my friends aren't going to like this, they're definitely going to comment something stupid on the post. I've got one word for that: get rid of them. 2 words, 3 words. So, you don't need to have them on your social media accounts. You should be treating your social media as business media, so if anybody's going to be writing, or if the thought of somebody writing something is going to put you off posting, then you do not want them in your network, straight away. So, Liam, so here we go. Questions. Can we use the post on our own feed straight after posting in the comment, the homework post, or best to wait for feedback? No, use it. Listen, I'll give you some feedback. I'm probably, if all of you commit to the task, which I'm hoping you do, I'm not going to get through them all tonight. But yeah, post it on your Facebook and test it. Marketing's all about testing. There's no right and there's no wrong. I've designed adverts before that I think, oh my God, that looks amazing. We're going to get such a good response, and it just tanks. And then I've put things up that I think look horrific, and they get like super engagement. There's core principles of everything, but it also depends on what your network is like, that what your audience is like that you're pitching to. So if they are the right audience and they, like funky yellow colors, and you post something with funky yellow colors, then you're more than likely going to get more engagement than if you post something with blue colors and they don't like blue. Very basic example there, but it's not always black and white marketing. It's testing. But the more you get your brand out there, the more you get engagement on your stuff, then the more people will be following you behind the scenes. I'll give you a great example. And a lot of people post expecting a result. Okay, I never do anything expecting a result. I just measure activity. Now, if you're always posting expecting a result, you're going to be very disappointed. You'll get demotivated very quickly, and you'll stop marketing. because you don't get results, not as quick as people think. People think they're going to write one of these posts, put it online, and all of a sudden they're going to get 10 leads from landlords, and all of a sudden they'll get, 5 deals, and that's not going to happen, But what does happen is people start watching behind the scenes, and people start paying attention to what you're doing. I've had, several examples of this, which, I think are really important to share. One is a friend of mine who I haven't really seen much since school, moved to Australia, and he started seeing what I was up to. And about a year and a half ago, reached out to me and said, Ryan, I've got a pot of money sat in the bank account. What can we do? And he's now one of my investors and my partners. And we work together ongoing because his money's doing nothing for him. Not once did he comment on one of my posts. Not once did he like a post. Did he share a post? No. But, he was watching in the background. Similarly, my business development executives over in Dubai, they were calling the lists that we give them each week. And yesterday, Sakina was calling, and she had a UK phone number, rang the UK phone number and said, hi, I'm calling from Luke Homes International. We do property management over here in Dubai, blah, blah, blah. So you've got property in JVC. And he said, yeah, I've heard of you guys in the UK. So I'd be happy to work with you. And we're now exploring, looking at his property over there. So my brand development in the UK has helped my business in Dubai. Never heard of the guy before. He's never commented on anything. And as far as I'm aware, he's never liked or shared anything. So you just never know who is watching you as a brand. But I tell you one thing, if you're not putting stuff out there, nobody is watching you. So you've got to get stuff out there and let the market tell you what's good and what's bad. And then later on in the week, in the content machine, I'm going to show you how you then pick up your great content and you make it even better. And that's how you then start getting better and better and better at this. Super, super powerful, but you've really got to tune your marketing brains in. So question, should we be posting on a business profile? Personally, I don't think pages have as much impact as your profile. People buy from people in property. People buy from people. Most of my activity is done on my Facebook profile rather than a page. And most of, my business stuff, yes, we do post to the pages, but we do it from a profile, into various different avenues. Same with LinkedIn, from a profile, Instagram from a profile rather than a business profile. But there's no, I don't think, right and wrong in that. I just think that's what's worked for me. So that's kind of the avenue where I put most of my attention to, and then everything is kind of coming from that avenue. But as I said, later on in the week, we'll show you how to repurpose onto multiple different avenues. So that one piece of content that you're going to write tonight, we could potentially use that over the next probably 2, 3, 4 months and repurpose it in so many different ways across so many different channels. So it's worth putting the effort in to get your initial content, and then we can repurpose it thereafter. So as we wrap up, just type 1 in the chat if you found that useful, and 2 in the chat if you're coming back tomorrow. Super, super, super. Cool. So I'm going to leave you to it. If you do your homework task, drop it into a 7-figure group. If you're not in the group, you should be. Just request to join and we'll get you chucked in there. And I'll see you again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, same time. Have a nice evening, everyone.